Welcome to Western Bass TV. Today, we'll embark on a trip to Clear Lake, Cache Creek to be specific. Pro angler and guide Rus Snyders has fished this area for a number of years and takes us there now.
Right now we're at the mouth of Cache Creek, and there's a big flat out here. We have some wood sitting on this flat. A lot of times before the bass come in to spawn, they will sit on this wood and wait to move into the slough there all the way to the back sometimes to spawn. Using a red and black jig. It's a 1/4 ounce. Has a double wide sweet beaver as a trailer, a green pumpkin watermelon. Sometimes I like to dip the tails in a little bit of red to give it some contrast. This 1/4 ounce, it really sinks quite slow, and sometimes that's what it takes. A lot of guys are throwing the 1/2 ounce and the 3/8, and it falls a little too fast. When the water temperatures are so cold like they are, 54, 55 degrees, they want the bait to move a little slower sometimes. Let's go right here. I got used. Oh man. That fish took off with it pretty fast. When fishing structure like this, especially with the jig, is making accurate casts and just a really quiet presentation, not a lot of splash. We don't have any wind on the water right now. And these bass, a lot of times, are going to sit just right up on these tree roots. You're going to need to place that bait, obviously, just right there. I come into Cache Creek and flip. There's 3 major baits I'm going to have on my rods. I'm going to have a 2 bait right here with the weight located internally, 5/0 Tonkatsu hook, a Senko rigged either Texas style weedless or wacky rigged, depending on the how heavy the cover is that I'm flipping, and then a jig. A lot of times with Cache Creek, especially pre-spawn, when they're coming in here to move up to spawn April, May, they'll be going all the way to the back, and a lot of times we're at the mouth right now, and you'll fish here and you'll catch maybe a bunch of fish in one stretch. And you'll go back there the next day, and they're gone. But the thing is in Cache Creek, the fish move really fast. So what you want to do is maybe fish an area really thoroughly, then go maybe 1/2 mile down, fish another area until you find the concentration of where they are, because patterns don't hold up here quite often. So. What we're fishing here is an offshore concrete wall that comes out, runs parallel to these concrete blocks right here, and it's 2 feet on top of that concrete wall, and a lot of times then it drops off straight to 8, and the fish will use that break. After about a 35-minute idle, we're finally back at the Cache Creek Dam. You see right here, there's a lot of deep water. It actually opens up back here, this last half-mile stretch, and it gets quite a bit deeper. Sloughs, probably, our Cache Creek is 7 miles long, 7 or 8, and first 6 or 7 miles is primarily pretty shallow, with the deepest spots only getting maybe 12 feet. As you get back here by the dam, you can find 5 feet of water, and fish stay back here a lot of times year-round. With that deep water access, there's no need for them to go back there. So there are some fish that remain here all year, but some of them do go back out, probably towards Bass Alley and some of the rock piles out to the mouth in the summer months as well. We can do a little flipping. Now I'm using a 6-inch Senko, Texas style. A little Clear Lake bass, if we get a few bigger ones. There's a good one. Nice Clear Lake bass. One on the Senko, 3.5 pounder. Just letting it sink really slowly. Right now, it's still a little bit cold out. 10 o'clock in the morning, but man, I swear it's like high 40s still, air temperature. But he was just hanging out right on the outside of that tree, suspended in the tree actually. They're not quite up on the trunks and tied up on the bank yet. I don't think they're going to get up there until the sun gets up a little bit higher and kind of pushes them to those shade pockets. Right now they're just roaming, so the pattern seems to be just any of the outside structure, just fishing it really slow. Any of these trees, they're just suspending right in the middle of them. A lot of times during this time of year, early April, you really want to focus on the banks that are going to get the most sun throughout the day. This bank right here has sun on it predominantly all day long. Sun rises over there. It's going to set right over there, so it has direct sunlight. And the deep water access, it's 18 feet right where I am with my boat. On the steep walls, it makes it really easy for all this wood, and there's some rock down there too. It makes it easy for the fish to move up on that on the warmer days. What we're fishing is you see some of the rocks right on the shore there. These rocks actually extend out quite a ways, quite flat, maybe 20 feet out or so. And there's a break on it. A lot of times when the temperature's a little cooler, they'll push off instead of sitting on this wood and stuff, sitting on any kind of break. But the thing is most of the slough is all silty and muddy bottom. There's a few rocky areas out here. The key is just spending time looking at your graph, fishing really slow, trying to find some of that deeper rock. You got? Small one. It's right up on that rock right there. It's really deep. It puts 15 feet right here still. That one was on a jig. Caught the last few on a Senko. I stopped eating the Senko, so picked this up just a second ago and got one to eat it. Get a couple more here. Since I was a little kid, really. Probably 10 years old. We used to go do a little camping at the state park, me and my family. a good time. But tournaments, I've been doing tournaments here since I was 16 years old. Had a couple of decent finishes, and now I'm don't do too many tournaments. My primary focus is on guide trips. I find it a lot more fulfilling, a little bit less stressful. Try to teach people, the basics of Clear Lakes, depending on your skill level, really. I've taught people from, people that have never fished before, and families, father and son type thing, or I'm just teaching them the basics of how to use a spinning reel and drop shotting, some of the basic techniques, and I've taken some of the tournament guys out as well too, and helped them learn some new spots, some of the offshore rock piles, especially in Rattlesnake Arm and some areas of the South Lake. There's quite a bit of offshore structure, and key to fishing that stuff is just being really good with your graph and using your GPS, marking all that offshore stuff correctly has really helped me catch more fish. Like a 2.5 pounder. Coming up. You're moving up now. See if he grabs it. Right there tells me to go eat a frog. Get one tied on. I flipped in the middle of that tree. The fish just came right up. Tried to grab my Senko, but he missed it. Right on the surface, though. So those fish are just suspended in those trees. There's 14 feet of water here. There's probably at least 9-10 feet of water. As soon as that Senko hit the water, I had one come up and try to grab it. Sun is just finally starting to come out. Those fish should push up to the temperature. The sun's going to warm up the top surface layer of water. Using a weed slinger swim bait. It's made by Black Dog Baits. Similar to the mission fish, the weight built into the head. Really has a profile of a hitch, which is a common bait fish up here at Clear Lake. Bass love them. They're a little bit bigger than shad, about this size, look just like that. You do is when you cast it out, just let it hit the bottom and just swim it really slow. This bait just sinks down, it's weedless, and I'm just going to reel it right through any type of cover. It comes through cover a lot better than most of the other swim baits out there that have big treble hooks and stuff on them, exposed hooks. This one's a little bit heavier than the mission fish as well, so it's pretty easy to fish it down, like 7-8 feet of water. You probably even go down as deep as like 15. Makes it a lot better fishing some of the rock piles, deeper structure. Ooh, that wasn't good. There we go. Another smaller Clear Lake bass. There's nobody around here. It's probably one of the best things about back at Cache Creek. Some pliers real quick. It's a 35-minute idle back here, but I mean, it's Saturday, and I don't know if you guys have been to Clear Lake before on a Saturday in April, but you go up to Lakeport, some of the areas up north especially, there's boats every 100 yards, and I've seen a few times, you know, people get in arguments about I'm on your water, or they're on my water, and yeah, there's just not enough room up there sometimes. So if you get sick of that, there are places, believe it or not, at Clear Lake on a weekend you can go and have it all to yourself, just like this. So long ride back here, but I think it's worth it. That's a good one. A little better. It's in that shade pocket right over there on the outside of that tree. Some deep water by it right there. A lot of times what people don't pay attention to is the depth of the water that they're sitting in. There's that fish right there. When they're fishing shallow cover like this, they'll just be going along the bank, just flipping, always paying attention to what they're seeing rather than what's underneath them. And a lot of times deep water access is really the key to fishing stuff like this. You're going to pay attention to your fish finder and look for the deep holes, because you'll be going down a bank and it'll all look the same. There's a channel going through here, and that channel will push up to the sides of the banks, kind of going from one bank back to the other side. So you really want to pay attention to those channel swings and see where that deep water is, because when it's colder out, when the fish are inactive, they're going to push into that channel and just sit there. And then when they want to move up, they want somewhere where they can just move up really quick, just get up there, grab a bite to eat, and then go back down. And other times though, when it gets really warm, stays hot for several hours, or if you get later in the day, then they'll start moving up on some of the flatter areas. You'll be sitting out here and only be 3 or 4 feet deep. So you really got to pay attention to that. It's really key to finding good patterns when you're fishing in back some of these sloughs like Cache Creek and Rodman. I just got whacked. Today we're out on Clear Lake, which is one of many lakes I guide at. Some of the other ones being South Bay Lakes, which is down closer to where I'm from. Lake Anderson, Calero, Coyote. I also guided some of the other NorCal lakes, Folsom, Sonoma, Berryessa. I've had quite a bit of experience fishing all these lakes, and I really enjoy guiding, just teaching people more than anything. Just teaching people anything from whether it's the basics of bass fishing, drop shotting, using a worm, how to cast, improving your technique, stuff like that if you're just getting started, as well as some other guys with a little bit more knowledge who might know only these basic things but want to get a little more involved with swim bait fishing, which has become quite popular, as many of you know, in the last couple years. For all different kinds of swim baits. It's a good time just teaching people, helping them learn. This one on a spinner bait. Wind picked up a little bit. Just a little guy. Oh! Stop doing that. There we go. Little guy. A spinner bait, white chartreuse, gold blades. And a little shade pocket. But if you guys are interested in booking a guide trip, you can check out my website. It's got a website recently built. It's russnyders.com. First name Russ is only spelled with one S. It's RUSSNYDERS. Or give me a call at 650-740-7735. Just got into guiding not too long ago, about 2.5, 3 years ago or so. Make sure to give a couple weeks notice, especially in spring and summer. Get quite busy. Another thing you really need to bring is appropriate clothing, your fishing license, and any food. I take care of the rest. I have a fully rigged Ranger boat with good quality graphs, Lowrance graphs, and more quantum rods and reels than anyone could ever need. And as well as all the latest tackle, including plenty of swim baits and the high-end baits. Oh, that is a good one too. Yeah. Oh, right in that shade pocket. Wanted that spinnerbait. That's a good one. Get over here. 4-pounder. Sun's coming up, and these fish are just now starting to get up in these shade pockets, back in these trees, and all their ambush points. This morning we're having a hard time getting them up shallow. They just didn't want to come up with this warm weather and spring. These big females want to warm up their eggs, so bite's just starting to turn on here. Drag was loose. Another one on the spinnerbait. Whoa. Bad fish. That wind kicks up. Just like that, it could turn a blade bite on. I was in here flipping the same bank earlier, getting them, then flip started dying a little bit. It's that little breeze, warm air temp, started eating the blade pretty good. The key is just putting it in the right spot and hitting those ambush points, knowing where they're going to be, presenting that bait to them. There's another one on the blade. Yeah. Going to conclude our trip for the day. Hope you guys enjoyed watching and learned a thing or two. And yeah, have Clear Lake all to yourself. There's still a couple places, and come on back to Cache Creek here and check things out, especially early in the spring. You'll have a great time.
For more fishing information, go to russnyders.com, RUSSNYDERS.com.